welcome back to the channel. Now, today is going to be a bit of a raw, unedited rant slash discussion about how we're feeling with the general scope of Tottenham at the moment. This could be 15 minutes, this could be half an hour. I'm not too sure, so buckle up and let me know anything that you agree or disagree with. First place we have to start really is Daniel Levy, because the rumour mill is absolutely flying off of the chain at the moment with all sorts of probable nonsense. But you could say there's never a smoke without fire. Do you know what I mean? There has to be some sort of proof into what's going on, because obviously all these rumours are starting to come from anywhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, WhatsApp chats aren't the most reliable, but a lot of people who say they have ITKs inside the club are saying that a fair amount of it is true. So, you know, for the video's sake and for transparency, I'm going to run through it. Now, I'm not saying this is gospel. Again, this is just me quoting it for the subject of the discussion. So, by all accounts, it appears that the Joe Lewis family don't want to own Tottenham anymore, or they just want out. Now, Joe Lewis's daughter is believed to be the head of the trust which the club is put under. So therefore, she is essentially the owner. Now, she wants to sell, whether that be to a consortium of the Saudis or of something, we don't really know. But Daniel Levy doesn't want to. He wants to remain in charge at the club, but unfortunately, he doesn't have the majority, nor will he ever have the majority, because I don't think he's got that much capital surrounding him. So, rumours are that he will be stepping down soon, or that the club will be sold and he'll be kept on a 12-month rolling contract. Again, I really just want to state, this is not me saying this is true, but for everything that's surrounding the club at the moment, I feel it's key for context for people who might not know. I may even show the screenshot, but I don't know. I don't want to perpetuate, more rubbish getting spread. But Daniel Levy has been at a crossroads now for a while in terms of where he wants to take this club, because it's been clear for a while that while he is a fantastic businessman, and I have to stress that for all his negative sides on the pitch, off the pitch he is absolutely masterful. Bear in mind, he bought the club, or with Ange, bought the club for 300 million back in 2001, and it's now valued to be over 3 billion. Do you know what I mean? That is a huge rise, and that's what's enabled us to be labelled as part of the Big Six, while for the last 17 years we've only won two trophies now. So his commercial insight and knowledge has been invaluable to us. I think we would be unfair if we didn't allow him the credit for that. But unfortunately, for most fans, we're not going to see the benefit of the money that we're bringing in business-wise. We just want to see success on the pitch. And, I think he would say himself the last 20-odd years hasn't been as successful as it should have been and could have been. To remind you, the 16-17 season, the Poch era, we were a couple signings away. I mean, I always quote the 16-17 season, where we scored more than Chelsea, we conceded less than Chelsea, we lost less games than Chelsea, we went unbeaten at home the whole season, and we still ended up with nothing. Do you know what I mean? Look, it's not hard to see why we would be frustrated, because we were only a couple of big signings away, and what did? We shopped on the B and C list. We've never gone, yeah, that is a statement signing. We've spent a lot of money on players, but we've never. It doesn't feel like we've beat big clubs to a signing, really. I mean, apparently Dragusin was between us and Bayern Munich last year, but you get my overall gist. We've never been the ones to go and break the bank on someone when we could have been. And the reason for that is because our wages. We offer very, very low wages compared to everyone else. And I believe, or I'd imagine, that a lot of the money that players can be making is tied into bonuses and things like that. But if a bonus is tied in with a trophy or something like that, then and you're not making the squad as strong as possible, then they're never going to get it. So, which could be like an absolute genius plan from Levy. Go, oh yeah, if you win the Premier League, I'll give you 10 million, knowing full well they're never going to. But I mean, Levy has been at the forefront of disgruntled Tottenham fans for a very long time, and if he is to leave, excuse me, one moment that I think would be the pinnacle / sum it up is after the Brighton game. Now, we had just lost, but we were parading around the trophy. You know, the fans were in full voice singing, having a party. And what happened when Daniel Levy's face was shown on the screen? He got booed. You know, wrongfully or rightly, he got booed. And I think in that moment, he's probably sat there thinking, I'm never going to please these lot. Do you know what I mean? To him, like, because he in his statements every year, he says he does this and that and whatnot. But in his mind, he genuinely feels like he's doing what is absolutely best for the club. Now, as a business, he probably is. But as a football title-winning side, then we know that's where the differences sort of start to lie. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens, because all the talk about Ange and whatnot has gone dead silent at the moment. There is not a single sort of scoop coming out. Bearing in mind, for the last week, it's been changing every hour. And since all this Levy news is dropping, Tottenham Hotspur's gone radio silent, bar the kit launch. So, you know, is Daniel Levy going? I personally, if we were to get new owners, I would love to keep him on the business side. If we can say, look, right, you're the director of commercial and all that malarkey. Because, like I said, the concerts, the NFL, the F1 partnership, the man knows how to strike a deal. Obviously, every chairman in the world always says that Daniel Levy is the hardest one to deal with, so he knows how to get a deal done sometimes, not in football. I've been a bit too kind there. But, yeah. So, could Levy be out? Would you want to take over? Who would you want to buy us? Who knows? But let me know your thoughts. Just got a little list here of topics because I want to be thorough in this. Even though it's not going to be very edited, I just want to run and get my thoughts out. So next brings us to the biggest topic of discussion for Tottenham, and that is Ange Postecoglou. What do we do with that man? And again, I want to say, for the first half of this week, the story was changing every half an hour. Every single media source was saying different things and whatnot. And ever since this WhatsApp thread has come out, it's all gone quiet on Ange Postecoglou. I can see everyone's side of the argument. The league form was unacceptable. Should he be able to get more out of even the second string side? Yes. Should they have performed better? Yes. But my problem is, the man was proved right. Do you know what I mean? He did it. Like, you know, we have Tadarius to do. The man did. The man did what no other could for the last 40 years, as well as the last 17 with any sort of trophy. The method was proved right, and I can't quite get on board with people who are so staunchly out. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, football has made a massive hypocrite out of all of us. I think a lot of us were, you know, starting to think, right, we really need to change. I think the Wolves game was the one for me where I was like, oh, do you know what? This isn't going to be the one. But he did it. The man gave us the best night of our lives, depending on how good your life's been. But I mean, in football terms, it was all proved right. And you can see how much these players absolutely adore him. I mean, we've got Christian Romero, World Cup winning centre-back, saying that if Ange leaves, so will he. For me, that's enough reason alone to keep him. Because Romero is that good. I don't care what anyone else says. That man is probably our best ever centre-back. And that, I've said that on my TikTok. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but some of these need to be had. And that's no disrespect to Ledley. I've got his signed Ultimate Team card on my wall. But I truly feel if we're going to progress, we need to start keeping our best players and not selling them. Obviously, Kane was a long-standing saga that was always going to happen, but Romero is someone we need to keep. And I just think with Ange, I mean, Porro's come out today and said that how behind they are, and the fact that it makes him sad that even though they've won it, he still is getting questioned. Do you know what I mean? Like, the man did it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm going crazy when I see people going, like, who have got absolutely no time for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just want him out. There was someone in Bilbao in the ground, and they were doing interviews of fans after the full-time whistle, and he went, "Yeah, no, still got to go." And I'm like, what? I'm like, you just witnessed us win our first major trophy in 40 odd years, and yes, you were asked the question, but I would have bowed down to that man on the spot. Like, again, football's different for everyone, but I think he just at least deserves, the start of next season. What was another year? Do you know what I mean? Like, we've won this now. I don't want to go another 17 years, but I could certainly survive another year without a trophy. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm going to try and complete this without talking down on Thomas Frank at all, because I know he's a fantastic coach. But that's another project manager that we're going to need to then stick by. And, he's had 7 years at Brentford. When was the last time a Tottenham manager was there for anywhere close to that? I think Pops was probably 4 or 5. But that's you take Ange out and you rip the whole heart of that team out. And yes, they're professionals and they would get behind Frank, and I'm sure it would work out. But does Thomas Frank raise our ceiling? Is Thomas Frank, gonna have the tricky conversations with the board when it comes to transfers? Or I mean, he strikes me as, like, I hate the phrase yes man, but he does. I don't think he's what we need, and he would offer unbelievable stability. I have no doubt about that. But chaos is what got us to that Europa League final and the Champions League spot. The daring, like, to be bold and to do it. We did it, and I just don't know if Thomas Frank is the one to take us to that next level. I really don't, and that's not talking down on the fantastic job he's done at Brentford. I've seen some awful arguments from Tottenham fans regarding him, going, "Oh well, he's never beaten Postecoglou," which is an awful take. Bear in mind, he is managing Brentford. Like, yes, we've been bad, but come on, it's not a fair comparison. But I just don't feel like he is the one to really, really elevate us. I don't think he takes our ceiling that much higher. Where I feel with Postecoglou, sky's the bloody limit at this point. Who knows what that man's going to conjure up. But with all the unrest in the club at the moment, we need a statement of some sort. The fans need to know what is going on within the club. And don't get me wrong, clubs don't typically come out and make a statement that they're going to keep their manager. That's like, time just sort of goes on. But the transfer window opened. Do you know what I mean? The transfer window is open. We're seeing our targets going every day. We've already had Cherky, who we were talking to, Man City are now going, and Buemo, who we were linked with, going to United. Do you know what I mean? There's not many signings out there, but we need them. And we need stability within this window, and, just a clear sight of where we're going or what we're doing. And we are really, really lacking that at the moment. I think everyone is in the dark about what's going on at the moment. Most of all Tottenham fans. So we'll have to see when the club decide to come out and make a statement of some sort. It's going to be interesting, but when is it not? I mean, imagine this, right? We wait 17 years for a trophy. Do we get to enjoy that trophy for more than 2 weeks? No. The final was, I think, 2.5 weeks ago. And our club is suddenly apparently in internal turmoil. Like, it's ridiculous that we should be going, oh, who should we go for next? Like, what transfer targets are we going for? And we're not. We're sat here not even knowing if our manager's going to keep his job after doing the thing he was set out to do. Get a trophy and get Champions League. He did them both. And also, that's another point. What does that say to future managers? Or players? You achieve your targets, you still get sacked? I know, the league form, but on paper, his targets would have been qualify for top 4, get a trophy. Now, we didn't qualify for top 4, we got Champions League via the trophy. The same thing. So, Ange's future, undecided. Next, we come to a story that's starting to pick up steam, and that is the future of Heung-min Son. Now, I've said in a lot of my TikToks and in the buy or sell video, if you watch that if we got a sizable offer for him, I think we should take it. Now, I've got to say, I was confident in that, and I still believe it. But the thought of him leaving is a sickening one, really. You think him and Ben Davies are the last of that Poch era, the era that really, really sucked in a lot of us, having been our most successful, since the turn of the century, really, in terms of league position and what we were able to achieve. That team was so close to doing something brilliant. And if we're going to lose Son and Davies this season, that is it. That is that whole crop pretty much wiped out. There's going to be one floating about that I've forgotten. But I mean, who becomes our most senior player at that point? I don't even know. But if it's 10 years for him, if he can get a nice big Saudi contract and earn an absolute fortune and not have to get out of second gear, it's a beautiful time. 10 years, he finally did it. That would mean his last game would be the Europa League final. I mean, if there was ever a more fitting end to a chapter in your life, that is it. And there's no one in the world who deserves it more. But my God, I don't think... How do you survive in a world where Son is not a Tottenham player? How do I see him in another kit? Do you know what I mean? And that's where the head and heart thing comes in. Obviously, I want what's best for the club. And they're saying that this is to boost finances for the summer, where we really shouldn't need that. But that's what they're spinning. And that's the thing. If it comes down to it, he has been an absolute legendary servant of this club, and I hope to God they're making a statue of him. But it would be time to go. He goes somewhere for, let's say, 2 years, comes back as an ambassador. I want him and Ledley next to each other every time, every game. And that would be fantastic for everyone involved. But that man deserves it all. He stood by us. We all remember the Nuno times where it looked like Kane was leaving. Nuno was stinking the bed. And what did Son do? Signed another contract. And that's why he'll always be a hero, regardless of his on-the-field abilities for us. Absolute hero. So, next topic we've got is transfers. I mean, how are we meant to make transfers when we don't know who our manager's going to be? Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous at this time that we haven't got that clarity at the moment. I mean, at the moment, we're linked with Leroy Sané. Apparently, he wants a 4-year deal. That's a little bit much in my eyes. I was thinking, like a 2-3 maybe. Then, you can cut your losses if it's going bad. But 4 years, a big financial investment because he's going to want decent wages. But Leroy Sané is one of the links. Eze from Palace apparently has a release clause. Do you know what I mean? That should be our simplest transfer of the summer. If he has a clause and it's 60-odd million, guess what? Go and do it. And I see people saying, 60 million on a 28-year-old. Do you know how much we've lacked experience? I stand by this. If we got Conor Gallagher last summer, our year wouldn't have been as bad as it has been. Because we need experience. Tottenham fans are funny, though, because we turn our nose up at players, When Eze was leaving QPR, we were linked with him, and people turned their nose up. When Bowen was leaving Hull, we turned our nose up. Look at them now. If we wanted to get them both, how much sometimes we just have to have a little bit of faith in this system. I'm not saying we should only sign youngsters, But sometimes, just take that punt and we save ourselves a lot of money. Adam Wharton from Blackburn, we were linked with him. People go, nah. And now, I'm praying we go for him this summer or next summer. But guess what? It's going to cost us best part of 100 mil, probably. So, transfers have always been a sticking point for Tottenham. Always. I mean, Eze and Sane are the only real tangible links I've seen. And for a squad that needs a bit of an overhaul, you think Richarlison could probably go, Basuma could probably go, Son could go, Bentancur's contract's still up in the air. I mean, you could have Mikey Moore out on loan next year. Like, that's 5 or 6 names. We're going to lose Ben Davies. We we need a big summer. And at the moment, they're all sitting around with something in their hands, not doing a lot, it seems, to the outside. And I know there's probably so much happening that I don't know about, which is fine, which is fair enough. But unfortunately, all we can see is what's happening to the club on the service level. And at the moment, it's worrying. Because United are a big club, granted. But they're acting like they won the Europa League final. And we're doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? I made a TikTok today saying that, United will always be able to sign big players because they are United. And I get that. But we should be attacking this market with real intent. And at the moment, we're not at all. Again, it links back into how do you make signings when you don't know who your manager's going to be? Who's the player going to talk to on the phone? You can't even say Levy because he might not even be there. So we need to figure out what's going on, and we need to figure it out fast because it's getting a little bit worrying. Now, I know it's the 3rd day of the transfer window. But if you know Tottenham and transfer windows, I could probably make this same video on the last week and nothing's changed. So, now my last point is on the general direction of the club. So with the rumours of a sale happening, it's where we're going to go. Because, and people on TikTok hate me saying this, I've said it in a couple of videos, but Tottenham Hotspur is a sleeping giant of a club. And I mean that in every sense of the way possible. Because if we got the right investment, we have wiggle room for days when it comes to financial fair play due to the tight ship that Levy ran. So I'm not saying we would equate to the same success as Man City when they got taken over back in the day. But there is no reason why we couldn't if we did get, let's say, a Saudi consortium bid. Because Newcastle had the takeover, but then couldn't spend for 2-3 years because they hadn't generated enough. We've been generating a lot of money for a lot of time now without really ever breaking the bank. So, and if you're an investor and you're looking at that parade that happened after the Europa League final, you're just seeing dollar signs or pound signs, depending on what you look at. But the club is there. So you buy Newcastle, you're still probably going to need to upgrade the ground. You're going to need to upgrade the training facilities. Probably, I don't know what they are, but just take that as a generic example. Tottenham, you don't have to do that. Tottenham have already got the stadium, the training ground. The stadium hosts 20 non-footballing events every year that make God knows how much money. The club is a money-making machine. It really is. I don't know if in terms of profit, but in terms of spending money that would be available to us would be unbelievable. And people hate when I say we're a sleeping giant, but we really are. And we need, if we were to get investors that come in and want to win, they don't want to worry about the book, because the books are set. The books are pretty much set for a long time now. We could do some really, really great stuff. And that's always been the frustration with Levy, is he's never risked it. Our slogan is to dare is to do. He's never dared, really. And that's going to be the sword that he dies on, unfortunately. Metaphorically, of course. And yeah, I mean, are these rumours going to be true? Probably not. Will 99% of Tottenham fans hope they are? Absolutely. I'll probably even say 99.9999%. Because I think Levy's taken us as far as he can. But again, all rumours, none of it factually backed up or accredited to anything crazy. So we're going to have to wait and see. But all I'll say is it's gone very quiet when it comes to journalists around Tottenham for the last few days. I've got a dry throat. I've been talking for a long time. So that right there is my, how long are we recording? 28 minutes and 36 seconds roundup of everything going on at Tottenham at the moment. Let me know your thoughts. Please, I try to reply to all comments. I say that, I only got a couple of last videos. It's not like I've been, oh God, I'm slaving away here. But I'll reply to any and all comments, even if we disagree. Let's have a normal chat. Don't be calling me ugly. That hurts my feelings. So let me know your thoughts. Please like the video. Drop a subscribe. And, well, I'll probably put this video out and then something's going to change tomorrow, making this whole video moot. But we'll see. I'll see you when I'm looking at you.